And while this event and this movement are really about the tools of tomorrow, the challenges that we face and the choices that we make are in some ways very similar to the millions of Americans who have gone before us. And I think it is important for us to understand this industry in an historical context. Because when faced with obstacles, generation after generation of Americans have embraced new technology. They have seized new opportunities, and they've challenged not only themselves, but really the world. They were not afraid to lead, and that courage led them forward. So, for example, by embracing early on in our nation's history new approaches to agriculture, we became a breadbasket to the world. By pushing ourselves to the forefront of heavy manufacturing, we not only won 2 world wars, but we also became an economic engine that helped drive global commerce. And by being not only the birthplace of, but the incubator for so much of the information technology that has really defined the last several decades, we helped launch an information economy that has helped to connect the world. And I was blessed to be able to see some of that firsthand in my own role as a 13th employee at Nextel and know how important this kind of innovation is. So our leadership in agriculture, in industry, and in the IT economies didn't happen by accident. They required hundreds of thousands of people to make a conscious commitment to keep our nation ahead. And right now, we stand on the brink of a new economic wave, and it is one that is defined as much by molecules, large or small, and their ability to heal, as megabytes and heavy machinery and crop yield define the generations that preceded this one. So we're here today to learn about the results of a new report by Battelle and to recommit ourselves to a shared effort. And while the other speakers will walk through aspects of the research, I believe that the most important takeaway is this. It is critical to our national and economic interest that we own medical innovation in the future as thoroughly as we owned mechanical innovation in the past. Now, other nations see this opportunity. They understand it, and they are moving quickly to capture it. And let nobody be fooled to think that they are racing us to the bottom. They are not. They want the best jobs, they want the best research, and that's why it's no longer just about moving low-cost manufacturing overseas. Big and serious and important companies are moving research and development overseas as well. India is probably the fastest growing medical R&D and medical product manufacturing nation. They're investing heavily in education, and they have made clear their national focus on producing raw materials for medicine, on developing medical services, and in fact on investing in research and development. Singapore has been successful in attracting medical manufacturing efforts, and it aims to become the medical hub for research and development in Asia, and a manufacturing center of all medical products for Asia with worldwide distribution. Of course, they have access to these huge sovereign wealth funds which can invest in a broad range of industries. Israel, maybe the size of New Jersey, but they've got more technology and more patents than every other nation except the United States. And about 18 years ago, they developed a group of incubators focusing on developing technologies. And anybody with an idea and an ability could apply for funding, and many of them did, and many of them received it. And we, as the state of Delaware, I see John Pastor here from the Economic Development Office and now the State Department, State of Delaware State Department, met with many of these incubators in the late 90s, early 2000s to match them with Delaware companies and with entrepreneurs. And so this is really about seizing opportunities that we know exist. It's about marrying the minds, the materials, the marketing with the science, the sales, and the synergy to advance biomedical developments and achievement. And we're making that effort here in Delaware. And because here in the first state, we like the idea of being #1. We're small enough so that it's personal here, but we're big enough and fast enough that we can be bold. And we also know that we can't do it alone. So our biopharmaceutical and medical innovation sector supports or provides about 30,000 jobs. It contributes about $3 billion to our state's economy. And state government is proud to be a partner of this industry. Most of the world's top pharmaceutical companies have major operations within a 50-mile radius of Delaware, and some of the world's most recognizable brands in biotech and medical innovation have real homes here. Starting with AstraZeneca, which is, in case you didn't hear it the first time, employs about 4,000 people here. We are absolutely thrilled that AstraZeneca did make, as Bob mentioned, about 11 years ago, the decision to make Wilmington their North American headquarters. They recently agreed to make Delaware the Center for Clinical Excellence. And not a week goes by when we don't talk to them about ways that we can work with them and their employees to support new innovations. DuPont, which produced so many of the technologies that have defined our nation for generations, is now leading the way into renewable energy and bioscience, and we're proud partners with them in a number of efforts as well. I talked about Christiana Care already and the tremendous work they do. W.L. Gore, leading provider of medical devices, W.L. Gore based right here in Delaware. Siemens, an incredible company. Obviously it's a German-based company, but this particular unit spun off from DuPont, employs about 1,000 people in Newark in R&D and manufacturing and sales of innovative medical diagnostic equipment that's found in most hospital laboratories and many pharmaceutical labs around the world. We've invested with them and they've grown accordingly. Agilent used to be Hewlett-Packard, a tremendous facility here up on Centerville Road. Many of you know them because they test more than half the world's billion cell phones, but they're also a growing leader in analyzing the causes and cures for disease and improving the safety of our water, our food, and our air. But we're not just about, and we can't be just about, making sure the largest employers succeed, as important as they are. We've got to support the smaller companies, many of whom are in this room right now, until they become economic engines themselves. And so the Delaware Biotechnology Institute is a place where the state helps incubate emerging technologies, and it really formed thanks to the commitment we made to AstraZeneca about 11 years ago. So one example, we're helping a company called Alcatron, which is a green energy and chemical technology company, and when it was deciding where to be, its tipping point was the infrastructure here in Delaware and the collegial working environment among industry, government, and academia that our state can offer. The Technology Park, Mike Bowman is here, is home to a number of emerging biopharmaceutical companies, including 2 that started in Delaware with fewer than 5 employees and have grown tremendously. One of them is Fraunhofer, and I see Vidati sitting in the back, an unbelievably interesting entity. Fraunhofer, a German-based research institution. They have a number of research entities in this country. Their biggest one outside of Germany is right here in Delaware. And they're working on developing safe and effective vaccines targeting infectious diseases and autoimmune disorders. The state of Delaware has partnered with them over a long period of time. They have leveraged our investment and gotten tens of millions of dollars of funding from others like the Gates Foundation, and they just do a tremendous job. They started with 5 people or fewer. Now they've got 100 people doing really high-level, high-skilled research just a couple miles from here. Another one is QPS, or Quest Pharmaceutical Services. That is the largest company today at the Delaware Technology Park. Launched in 1995 by Ben Chen, and he was an analytical chemist who began his pharmaceutical career at DuPont Merck. They now employ over 200 people worldwide, representing a large growth segment in the life sciences, resulting from partnering with pharmaceuticals and outsourcing as well. So we, again, as a state, we've worked with them to support their growth through workforce development training and supporting their expansion at the Technology Park.